Hey guys, I'm going to talk to you today about how to harness the energy that commands the universe, creates worlds, and manifests. I have lots and lots of people that I see every single day coming to me asking me questions. And I see that a lot of people feel like they're failing and they're very, very concerned about circumstances. And it's like you can kind of feel and sense and know that there's some way to manifest the things that you want. And there is, but there's a lot of people feeling like they don't know how to harness that energy that creates and commands the universe. So I'm going to talk about that today in this video. So make sure that you watch all the way until the end. My videos tend to get better as you get deeper into it. And I'm very, very good at identifying blocks and mistakes that you're making along the way, as well as telling you how to fix them, right? Okay, so by the way, if you don't know me, I'm Jasmine with Manifest Fast with Jasmine. Yes, I'm an expert in manifesting, but I'm a master of energetics, and energetics is how you master manifesting. So if you'd like to master the energy behind manifesting and get deeper on those teachings with me, join my Manifesting University. That link is going to be in the description below. Okay, so I'm just going to read to you something that I wrote down before I got on here. How are we going to learn to harness the energy and vibration when we don't place importance on it because we have allowed ourselves to be trained out of the unseen truth behind illusion? So if you're very concerned about circumstances, that is when you're going to feel perpetually like something is wrong. And that is when the power that you can harness to create your world and manifest what you want is lost. Because the more that you focus as a human, we do this, right? We train ourselves to do this and we're trained to do this. But as humans, we are trained to focus on the outer circumstantial reality, and we lose touch with the guidance, inspiration, feeling, and flow and inclinations that come from within, from the truth, that we all are connected to this truth. If this sounds boring to you, then I don't know what to tell you, because this is the heart of manifesting right here. You just can't get away from the fact that you create and project your own reality. Nobody and no thing and no situation has free will in your reality except you. And so, I can't tell you how many times that I have felt like a failure myself. And I can't tell you how many times that I have pulled myself out of it with dedication, consistency, commitment, and practice, because I choose to not allow myself the option of not succeeding, of not learning, of not growing. And I don't give myself the option of not coming out of it. You got to stick with it. Okay. Even in the good times, in the bad, and the hard times, you have to learn that to tell yourself and to know and to believe. And, when you're educating yourself and continually reinforcing these things that we call manifesting and spirituality and all of that stuff, it's going to be easier for you to pull yourself out and to actually start learning and getting results, because you're choosing to believe in that. And so manifesting and living as a human is very interesting, because there's going to be moments where you forget what the truth really is because you are blinded by circumstances. And then similarly, there's going to be moments where you have an opportunity to remember that there is more, and that you can harness and you can learn and you can manifest and create a new reality. It is a matter of what you choose to believe overall, in general, what you choose to believe and go back to on a moment-to-moment basis, and what you the ultimate result that you're going to get in your life is going to be what you ultimately choose to believe in difficult moments. Ultimately, are you going to come back to, you know what? I know that there's a way. And I know that even if I cannot see the way, there is a way. That is what is called faith. Okay. And faith and belief. Let me tell you something. As a coach, as a manifesting coach, I don't really care what you believe in. I don't care what religious belief that you are. I don't care what your background of belief is. If you have belief, I can work with that. I can speak your language because I speak the language of the universe. So I can translate that in any context that it means for you, which is how the universe communicates with us. And we can work with faith. But if you have no rock to stand on, no foundational faith mechanism to pull from, you can't access this energy that creates worlds. Because you have to learn how to shift your orientation from a circumstantially blinded orientation, the human condition, to learning how to see something and feel and engage with a power and energy, a vibration that is unseen, but still known, still felt, and still yields results. So sometimes we fall into human states. I want you to fall into a God state where you know that circumstances don't matter. You remember nobody has free will except for you in your reality, and that you quantum leap into an infinite number of parallel reality options at any point in time. Okay, these are the truths that you have to come back to ultimately if you want to learn how to be a badass magic wand manifester. And anybody and everybody can do this. And I think that it's very unfair it's unfair to you when we look at someone and we assume that, oh, they have it easy because they already have the thing. Oh, yeah, it's easy when you look like that. Oh, yeah, it's easy when you have this sort of audience. Oh, yeah, it's easy when you have that sort of life. Don't make those assumptions about anyone, because everyone who's ever been successful in manifesting anything in their life will tell you that they are successful because they stayed committed and dedicated and consistent, and they practiced even in the most difficult times for them. They will tell you that they are successful because they decided that they were going to succeed even when they perceived that they were failing. So this is the true test of faith, right? And the reason why I keep saying the word faith, even though it's so boring, it's important. Faith is a consensus. Belief and faith is a consensus among so many different methodologies. And it's the consistencies that show us where the truth is. Okay. So that's a very important thing when it comes to life in general. You're not going to behave in a way that is going to yield results if you don't believe in the result to begin with, or if you don't believe in the possibility of it to begin with. And so when it comes to, there's this balance, okay? There's an empowerment to manifesting. The universe is yours to command, to control. And I want to elaborate, by the way, that's from Aladdin. I love that. I love that scene in Aladdin where the genie is like, the universe is mine to command, to control. And I'm just like, why do they always get it right? That is so true. That is so right. But let me elaborate on this word control, because to humans, certain words mean certain things. We put a human context on universal truths, but the real meaning behind a lot of these words is not really equal to the human context that we put onto it. Okay. Oh, and by the way, this is my podcast. This is my podcast that I'm doing Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. EST on my YouTube channel. It's called Master Manifesting Energetics. So if you want to show up for this, or you want to be notified every day that I'm going live, just make sure that you subscribe, hit that bell, and click all so that you'll get all those notifications. So let's talk about the word control, because a lot of people try to, they think that the idea that you can manifest other things or other people and that you can control, they kind of see this in a negative light. And if you're seeing this in a negative light, it's not a negative thing. It's a harmonious, balanced, completely loving freedom. It's based on freedom. It's all good things. But if you as a human choose to view the art of having free will in your reality and manifesting other people in your reality, if you are viewing this through a negative lens, you will not allow yourself to use this to your advantage. You will not allow yourself to fully actually really believe it and you will not empower yourself to use it. And I see this a lot. That's why I'm mentioning it. This is like a huge, huge, huge mistake that a lot of people are making in manifesting is about being empowered to manifest your world. And a lot of people are wanting or dabbling in manifesting from a disempowered place of not actually feeling good and right about it. And so when you have some sort of conflicting feeling or idea or belief about, something that you want in your life, you're not fully lined up with it. And so there's blockages too that creating that energy flow to manifest ultimately the thing that you want. You are blocking and stopping yourself by somehow in your subconscious, probably people don't quite realize that they're doing this, but subconsciously, sometimes it's like, well, we want something, we're after something because you can't help what you want, right? Like you want what you want. That's a natural thing. But we also demonize ourselves and make ourselves wrong for that. That slows it down. So that's why, a big part of manifesting is learning to reconnect with yourself and love yourself and quiet the mind and listen to yourself and quiet all the disempowering voices in your mind. How are you going to engage with manifesting in an empowered way, in a deliberate, creative, empowered way, if you are not feeling empowered? And part of this not feeling empowered, what ends up happening is when you don't feel empowered and you cannot powerfully harness that energy to command your universe because you don't feel good or right about it or you don't believe in it, what are you going to do? First of all, that's how you make yourself into a victim to circumstances. So you find yourself feeling like a victim. That's one way you know if you're doing this. And then the other thing that you're going to do is you're going to rely heavily on other people and wish that someone else would come to your rescue and solve your problem for you. And there's different degrees and levels to this. Okay. So empowerment, is like a scale, just like everything else. Disempowerment over here, empowerment over here. So how empowered or disempowered are you feeling? You got to, manifesting in the universe has you in it. Okay, you're not just in the universe, you are the universe. That's how you project and create your reality. That's why nobody has free will in your reality but you, because it's all really just one thing. And so how are you going to collaborate with the universe to manifest what you want when you are not collaborating with yourself, supporting yourself, loving yourself, paying attention to yourself when you're making yourself wrong? It's a huge, huge way that you keep yourself from actually being able to manifest what you want. And like I said, one of the indicators that you're making this mistake is that you're finding yourself casting blame on other people, wishing other people would do things for you, and using that as an excuse somewhere in your mind of like, why I can't, manifest more or do better or whatever it is. So one thing that is really, really important if you want to learn to harness the energy, and I mean, this is what I can talk about forever, harnessing the energy behind manifesting, right? Mastering the energetics behind manifesting, which is what allows you to actually manifest what you want into the world. One of the most important things is not separating the importance and value of you from everything else, so that you can actually do your part from where you're able to do your part, right? Engage and collaborate on a faith-based, action-based level, or on an action-based level backed by faith. That's an important distinction. Instead of basically functioning from a place where you're not even able to do your part because you don't believe that whatever your part is enough. And so you don't even take those steps, right? And so I see this in people that, I see it all the time, So I think that a huge thing in harnessing the energetics of manifesting, you gotta learn to change your orientation from where are you putting your faith? Are you putting your faith in the circumstances and in other people and what other people are saying? And I'm not saying don't trust people. I'm saying don't allow circumstances, the illusion of circumstances, to tell you what you can or cannot manifest. That is what I am saying. So a big part of this is learning learning how to go from functioning from the ego, which has no faith at all, only in circumstances, right? Only listens to other people and not the self, to coming to this place where you learn how to harness and get in touch with this unseen energy that we all have access to. Every single person has mental energy and feeling, vibrational, sensing ability. The difference is how much have you pushed your feeling, sensing abilities down? How much have you allowed yourself to demonize them and be afraid of them? And how much have you allowed yourself to be talked out of them? And here's the thing about the universe, which you're trying to manifest within. The universe does not actually do things for no reason. So the universe is not going to be able to relay information to you that you are simply not going to accept or believe in. That's something that humans do, right? We do all of this unsolicited advice and unwarranted solicitation. Nobody likes that. Nobody's going to listen to that. The universe doesn't do that to you. You have to invite the change that you want by being willing to have some faith. That's what faith is. Faith is, you know what? I invite the change, and I don't know what that's going to look like or how that's going to come, but I'm inviting it and I'm going to be open to that. And here's a way that you can feel like if you're doing this correctly, like if you're kind of like functioning from the right place, or if you're just staying in like this mentally blocked, limited state. So when you're functioning from this egoic mental state, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying ego is a bad thing. I'm just saying that you need to not be completely identified with your ego if you want to function outside of the limitations of the ego. Okay. So when you're functioning from purely the mental state, when you're functioning purely from ego, there's this, it's characterized by feelings of limitation, tension, irritation, aggravation, feeling this, feeling between a rock and a hard place, feeling like I can't, or it's impossible, or just simply aggravated that someone else can't do the freaking thing that you want, right? That's what it feels like when you're functioning from completely like a circumstantially based mental state, human ego place. Now, when you come in, when you allow yourself, and you can do this on a moment to moment basis, right? You catch yourself and then you sort of bring your energy back over here to this other orientation that allows you to harness the energy that creates worlds. There's this dropping of the mind, the circumstantial reasoning, the circumstantial focus, the circumstantial circumstantial insistence, okay? And you're sort of able to feel this release of resistance, this reprieve, this sort of breath of fresh air. Things sort of open up again. It's like there's this sort of little feeling not so closed in anymore, feeling open, feeling receptive. It's a little bit more peaceful and quiet. So what I'm saying is, when you're on your way to actually allowing yourself to deal more consciously with the energy that creates worlds, you're going to feel a respite from all of the mental fog and mental confusion. Confusion is always resistance. Clarity and truth comes from that place where you have transcended the human limitation mind and you're dropping down into the truth behind the illusion. And I'm explaining this because when you drop down into your awareness, into your consciousness, into illusion, when you drop down into truth behind the illusion, that is when you learn how to access the energy that creates worlds in more subtler ways. So like I said, we all have access to all of this, right? You have access to it now. But how attuned are you to it? I spent well over a decade training myself I mean every day, and I mean diligently, and I mean consistently, and I mean I was dedicated. I mean almost nobody could beat how dedicated that I was and how consistent that I was. On a moment-to-moment basis, I trained myself for over a decade to be more aware so that I could bring the subtle energies to my conscious awareness, because you can't manifest. You're going to have a hard time manifesting when you're trying, when there's a lot of things that are happening within you that you just don't know about, and signals that the universe is trying to give you that you just don't know anything about because you're blinded to it. You're not going to be able to use information that you're not aware of because it's subconscious. However, we all need to know that we're all picking up on subtle cues from the universe. We're all picking up on inspiration, information. We're all picking up on information that is there to guide you and help you to command the universe and get in touch with the energy that commands the universe and manifest what you want. It is coming to all of us. We all have access to it. You have to train yourself to be aware of the subtler energies that you've been ignoring because you are distracted by circumstances, stories, you're distracted by your agony, you're distracted by your plight. And so if I'm here to tell you vibration and energy, that is the stuff that commands the universe. You grab a hold of that, which we all can. You grab a hold of that and you command your world, and it works like magic. Okay, I have this like process that I tell my one-on-one clients for like to solve an impossible problem solving process, and it's basically this. It's I lead them and guide them to drop those things that it's like the channel in your mind that I'm on this channel, and the channel is very circumstantial channel, and I can't shut up about it because I can't stop thinking about it because I think this is what's important. So I guide them to drop all of that. And then I guide them into getting into a certain energy. And it varies from person to person exactly what that's going to be for you. So that's part of what I'm doing there. But the point is that tuning into an energy, that's how you command your universe. And when it comes to what we're all familiar with, which is manifesting practices specifically, the surface level practices like affirmations and scripting and things of that nature. These things are meant to help you get a hold of that energy and keep that energy flow going. Okay, so these things can be helpful, but not if you are completely ignoring the energy and the vibration behind them. You manifest your reality like you project who you are. The culmination of the vibration and the energy that you are is what manifests on the screen of space and is what manifests every person and interaction and circumstance therein in your entire life. People don't just show up because of how they're showing up. They show up because of what you're projecting in your reality. Now, if you blame the person, you can't change the energy that created them to show up in that way. Same thing with any circumstance. This is across the board, any circumstance. And so that's what I mean is how many of you right now, today, really can get this and drop the idea of the circumstances, drop the circumstantial blame, drop the blame on the person, and really implement this. That when you manifest something, you have to reverse engineer it and trace that manifestation back by following the energy to what energy created this before the thing happened. Ooh, that's what I do. I reverse engineer everything that I manifest. I figure out which energy created it, and then I change that energy where it originated from. Most of you guys are just trying to do affirmations and put a Band-Aid on something. That's why sometimes practices alone don't work. Doesn't mean that it can't work. And this is also why, sometimes I see people, I can't visualize. It's not working. Yeah, because you're not hooked up to the energy. You hook up to the energy, that's just going to be so just natural and intuitive. It's going to be like a freaking lightning bolt from heaven. And it's just going to be, and it's going to be so freaking clear and crystal clear for you once you tune into the energy. So stop being distracted by all the, the things that humans acting like chickens with their heads cut off are all distracted by. I see you guys in the comments talking about what? Talking about circumstances. You're never going to be able to learn anything if that's your train of thought, because what I am telling you is on a whole different universal channel. A whole different universal channel. And that is why I'm calling this like the language of the universe. If you are completely circumstantially focused, and that is primarily where you're feeling from and where you're thinking from, there will be a language barrier between you and me, and between you and anything else that the universe is trying to tell you or offering you that would actually help you. So learn how to have a little bit of faith enough to drop your worries and your woes and your stories in this moment and your feelings of gloom and doom. You create your universe. It ain't over. You're here because it ain't over, and you create your universe. So you got to just drop all that stuff for a minute, put it down. You can afford to put it down and get on board a little bit. Get on board with, what is this energy she's talking about? What is this energy vibration shit that she's talking about? You know what? I tried everything else. So do I need to meditate? I'll give it a try. Yes, that's where I want you to be. I want you to be, okay, I've tried everything else. I'll give it a try. Sometimes that's what it takes. You know what we call that? Surrender. So I'm going to tell you guys about a very, very, very important question that someone asked me today, and I'm going to answer it to you, and it's SP related. So someone in my Instagram, I think my Instagram is Manifest Infinitely with Jasmine. Someone in my Instagram messaged me and asked me this question. And I'll tell you what the question was, and I'm also going to give you the answer because this is so important. So this person told me, and that I don't even know where to start with this one, but okay. This person asked me, is it important for you to release emotional attachment to a person if you want to manifest them? And actually, I will tell you that this question horrified me. Not because of the person, but because this person told me that they had been holding on to this question for a year. That is horrifying to me, because this is really, really something that everybody needs to know. And I thought that it was more commonly well known. So I'm gonna tell you right here just to make sure that you guys know this, because it's so important if you want to manifest anything, but also people wanting to manifest a specific person are always in this place of, putting too much attachment on their person in a negative way. So I'm going to explain this to you. Okay, super important. So what you're calling emotional attachment to a person, and you also experience this with things, anything that you feel like you don't want to lose, there's this thing that you're calling emotional attachment there, or attachment. That's not, I think emotional attachment, it's not necessarily the wrong word, but I'm going to explain it, because it's not about having emotions for the person, like appreciation or love. That wouldn't be an issue, right? It's only an issue when you start feeling bad about it. That's when you're noticing that there's an issue. So what you're calling emotional attachment in this context of releasing attachment to your person, that is actually a mental body attachment. Because when you are functioning from the truth behind the illusion, you're functioning from truth. And truth does not feel or interpret problems. It doesn't feel problematic. It feels what? It feels clear and peaceful. And it knows that all is well when you're functioning from that place. So that's why I'm saying it's not necessarily an emotional attachment. It is a mental body attachment. It is a circumstantial attachment coming from ego, coming from human state, coming from a circumstantially based limited mindset. That is very problematic, but I want for you to understand the difference. The mind is what creates problems. The mind is what creates the interpretation of the universe. The mind is what creates how you're going to interpret everything that you see and witness and interact with and feel. The mind is what determines what your belief systems are. The mind is also what changes them. You have to decide to change something on a conscious level, which is why awareness is so important. Because if you don't know a thing is there, you certainly can't change it. And then you're just fucked and you don't even know why. So this is part of what I teach. So as you do the things that I am telling you to do in this podcast, in this video, where you're learning how to give less importance and credence and drop the mind and drop circumstances and stop thinking on that compulsive level, you're going to learn how to drop down and connect with the truth behind the illusion, and you're not going to experience attachment. Mind experiences lack. Attachment is a lack belief playing out at the mental level. The mental mind is in disbelief. Mental represents disbelief. And that's where the attachment and emphasis is. It is lack. So for that reason, detachment is very important. So when you're feeling, I really, really want something, I really, really want this person, I really, really want, yes, you have to detach, but it's not. See, everybody gets this wrong because they think if I detach, then the universe won't know that I want my person and it won't bring it. That is some hogwash. That is not, there ain't not a lick of that true, not even 1% of that. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous because a desire is completely fundamentally natural as a result of the fact that you exist, which means whatever it is that you inherently naturally desire or want cannot be undone. So no matter if you try to detach or not, or no matter if you try to run away from this thing, you're not going to stop wanting it inherently in the truth of it, right? You can ignore something here. It will still exist, which is why things come back to haunt you over and over again till you figure it out, which means you have to be willing and faith to figure it out. That's manifesting. Willing and faith to be consistent, dedicated, committed, and to practice. You are never releasing when you're talking about releasing an attachment because it is creating you pain and agony. You are never releasing anything bad. I'm sorry. You're never releasing anything good. Sorry. You are only releasing the lack mindset that is insistent and resistant and not aligned with the thing that you want. So sometimes that means that you significantly reduce the mental emphasis on the object of your attention. Yes, you want that. Let me ask you something. Have you worried about having running water today? Have you worried about where you're going to sleep tonight? Maybe some of you have. I'm just trying to make a first world example I'm trying to make a point, okay? I'm just assuming. But what I'm trying to say is that things that we know are done and in place, things that we know that we have, there's not a lot of mental emphasis on that. That's the point that I want to make with you guys. So when you know that this thing is done, you're going to release the negative emphasis and the pulling and the needing and the wanting. And it's going to feel like you put it out of your mind and you forgot it or didn't think about it. It's not that you forgot it or didn't want it or didn't think about it. It's not the universe is going to forget that you want it. It's that you know that it's already done. You don't have to think about it because the universe doesn't do things for no reason. You're not going to worry and be obsessed and compulsively thinking about something that is already done and in order. Yes. So I hope that you guys understand that. Um, if you feel like you don't understand what I have said, you can, just keep being committed, dedicated, practice, maybe listen over again. Sometimes people, they'll hear something, they don't get it for 6 months, or they'll watch it again. They watch it maybe 4 times. I've read books like 5 times. I've done a lot of repetition over 15 years of doing this, a lot of repetition, because each time you'll help prepare yourself to integrate more and understand more, and you'll get it on deeper levels with time. Trust that you will, and definitely. So anyways, hey, if you're still watching this video, that means that you liked it. So make sure that you press the subscribe button, hit that bell, click all so that you know every time that I'm going live. Subscribe to my podcast. It's a playlist on my channel. It's manifesting or mastering manifesting energetics. And if you want to work closer with me in closer proximity, if you want coaching, if you want to take my courses, join the Manifesting University. I have gone out of my way to create very economical, attainable choices for you guys to join the community. Okay, so that is in the description below. I'm actually going live for the retreat this week. And what is the other thing that I want to say? Oh, if it says not available for purchase, just use a desktop or look for that button that says see more and try that. But anyways, I'll see you guys live tomorrow on YouTube. Later.